Welcome to Real Estate Leadership. Today, Turner and I are going to talk about why you should or should not use a realtor for new construction homes.
Pay attention.
Let's jump in.
Hey, what's up? We are here for another episode of Real Estate Leadership. My name is Turner Cavender.
And I'm Travis Hitt.
That's right. That's your name.
That's it. Every day.
Every single day, every time you wake up. So we're going to talk about should you use a realtor when you're buying a new home, which a lot of people don't know about.
New construction.
New construction.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. I actually didn't know this when I bought my new build a while back. But we're going to tell you the benefits of having one and what happens if you don't use one. And,
what potentially could happen.
Yeah. So let's dive right into it. I will tell some of my experiences, but I know you just got done with a builder walkthrough today.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The new construction. Let's talk about like what goes through the beginning of the process, middle, end, and actually funding and actually getting your keys.
Yeah.
Of new construction. So normally when you're going out to look for a home and you're looking at a new area, new community that has new build, new constructions, whatever the terms I'm supposed to be using.
You got them all.
What are the things you need to be looking for when you're talking to the sales agent that's in that little model home? What would be one thing that you would like to give these people as key points?
First thing is, I would say these are the reasonings that you should work with a realtor is because if you don't know what to ask, you may miss the right questions. And what I always tell people, and it helps me, my wife did new home sales for about 2 years. So I got to learn a lot of the inner workings on the side of actually being an employee for them, which has helped me on the real estate side with my clients going into new construction. A big misconception is a lot of people think that they shouldn't use a realtor because maybe they'll get that money back that the builder would pay the realtor. Most builders have separate accounts to pay for that. And a lot of builders like it when people use realtors because you have somebody representing you. What I like to remind my clients and anybody that's building new construction, when you walk in that door to buy a new construction house, you have no representation. That salesperson is going to help you, but they are representing the builder. They're not going to represent you as the buyers. And that's very important no matter how many times you've done it. If you've done it a lot, it may be a little different. You know what to do, you know what to look for. But just like the builder walked through today, I go to all my new construction houses. I try to go to at least once a week, once every other week, to walk the properties and put eyes on it. But when you initially walk into a sales meeting with those sales agents, they're there to sell you. That's their job. They're not licensed.
They're looking out for themselves and their boss.
Yeah. Right. And there's a lot of great ones. I am not harping negatively on sales agents. The biggest point I like to make, though, is you have zero representation. You're buying one of the biggest investments of your life. You need somebody in your corner. Yeah,
for sure. And then there's been some builders out there. I want to say this. This is not all builders. We're just telling you what have happened with some of our clients and me personally. Okay. Sometimes they will skip you out of a product you picked or in a home, or they will, especially when you go through your first walkthrough, there might be some wood that you tell the builder supervisor that you want changed because it's it's rotten or it's cracked or it has a huge knot in it and you can tell it's going to snap in half. And they don't do it right, and they kind of mask over it, which happens a lot in construction. They try to just cut corners.
Yeah.
One, because they don't want to pay construction workers to come back out and do it again, and they're cheap.
Yeah. It's about getting it done.
Yeah. So it's always good to have a little bit more squeaky wheels, meaning like me and him being more of like because squeaky wheel gets the grease. Right?
Yeah.
So more your voice, our voice as well helps you in representation, but we also want to make sure that you don't get screwed in your contract because new construction has their own contracts.
Yeah,
right?
They don't use the Texas promulgated forms.
So what does that mean? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So every new construction builder, you're working directly with that company. I explain to people, when you buy a new construction home, you're dealing with commercial real estate. You're not dealing with residential real estate. Residential real estate, you use a Texas promulgated form. There's a lot of emotions in it, and you're dealing with the direct seller. When you're buying a new construction home, you're dealing with a company. You're not dealing with the direct seller. So whenever you go to sign their contracts, it is a contract written by that builder's attorneys to mainly protect them. And I don't blame them. If I have a company, my lawyers are going to protect me. So you want to know what you're reading, what you're looking at, what clauses are in it, how you can terminate if something happens in your life, because their job is to lock you in and make as much money as possible. And there are some phenomenal builders. I have a perfect example is one of our team members is representing a buyer on a build, and he's working with a great company, but when I reviewed the contract with him, I realized there was nothing on there with a finance period that stated if the buyer was not able to acquire financing and approval, the builder, the seller, would return that earnest money. Most builders do have that clause written into their contract. This one didn't. And the sales agent was super nice, and he said, look, we would not be where we were if we kept people's money. You can trust us. We don't want to treat people that way. And I told my team member, I said, look, I trust people all day long if they'll put it on paper. And I explained it to him. Our job is to protect our client, not that builder. So they ended up writing an additional clause into the contract that if the buyer wasn't able to obtain financing within a certain time period, the seller, builder, would refund that earnest money. But if that wasn't caught, there's no telling if they didn't get approved, if they would have lost their 15 or 20 grand.
That sell agent can say whatever they want. I guarantee they kept some money before. There's the reason they didn't put that.
They have the right to. It's in the contract.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another huge. That's the first step right there. Is the contract. You guys, look, this is not your industry, or you didn't go through all the training and stuff, that continuing education we go through to be able to understand these contracts. It's almost like being a lawyer.
Yeah,
at times for us, and this is what. We represent you and make sure you're safe. When you make sure you don't just throw earnest money away when you're trying to purchase a home, and then you can't get financing for some unforeseen reason.
But that's a perfect example, because if he wouldn't have been working with us, he would have signed that. He would have signed that contract.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. So Travis is awesome, great guy, right? Good leader.
Right back at you.
We got a good stuff going on here. So the next step after the contract. You say everything going good on the first part. Financing happens, right? They get that done. The first walkthrough. There's usually 3? Yeah, there's 3.
Yeah, 3 to 4 depending on the builder.
Yeah. So the first walkthrough is usually right after they put the frame up. Correct.
Right.
So the frame up. So when you go in and look at the framing part of the home, what do you look for?
Well, I look for the caliber of wood to make sure that there's no discrepancies with the wood that they use. I look at the placement of stuff. That's where they're starting to drill all the holes, place all the electrical, the boxes, the wiring. So really that initial meeting, there's not a ton that you have to look at, because they're doing more explaining factors of where things are going to go. But that's also usually the time that the buyer gets to select the areas of where they want stuff. Where do they want plugs? If you got a floor plug, where should you put that? Where should you put TV plugs, Cat 6 lines? Do you need extra electrical? Well, the benefit of working with a realtor that does this often, we get to work with a lot of buyers that do a lot of different stuff. So a lot of times when I go in there, I'm not going in there to tell my buyers how to build their home. I'm going in there with suggestions that they may not have thought of, because I've worked with a lot of buyers that do different things. So it's an added value at that time that we can say, hey, think of this. You use a lot of curling irons. Would you like to have a plug at the bottom of your vanity so you can hide your curling irons, rather than just having a plug at the top of the vanity? So little things like that you're walking through with the builder, that we're just another set of eyes and ears to go over that home with our buyers.
The same thing with the builder where this studio is in right now. And my, I'm a garage guy. I have a lot of toys and motorcycles and stuff, and where the motorcycles would go in the shop, there was no plugs at all. So I wouldn't be able to plug anything in, do any power tools and stuff. And I was able to find 2 plugs, and also where I was going to put my gas for my outside, grill, so I could run a natural gas to grill. Where I was going to put it, they had it in the most inefficient place possible. And so we had it moved to another better spot. So, and I was kind of new into the industry of real estate, being a realtor, and I've kind of walked through with some other mentors that were working with me at the time, and I learned from doing that. And it really did help having extra eyes and be able to pick those things, because I didn't know what I was. That was my first time to build a home, so I didn't really know what I was.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, but the plug thing, the vanity thing you were just talking about is great. So the next step would be drywall, right? The next once drywall's up and a lot of the fixtures are up would be drywall, right?
Yeah, after drywall when they close it in.
So I know what you look for when you go to your final walkthrough with the flashlight, right?
Blue tape.
I want to go through all these things because these are there's a lot of people out there getting new construction homes.
Yeah, right? Tons.
So these are really good points for you guys, and I'm going to make some YouTube shorts off of this video of what things you need to look for. So what is the things you need to look for when you got drywall up, electrical, the fixtures are in, lights and stuff. What are the things you look for?
So placement. I look at placement of lights, like in dining rooms or eat-in kitchen nooks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stuttered there. If my wife's watching, she's going to make fun of me.
Oh,
I've been stuttering lately, apparently. But, I look at placement because the reality is the builder may be a phenomenal builder, but they hire vendors. They hire guys to come in and do stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's human. I mess up. Yeah. These vendors, they mess up as well. So they may put a light that's supposed to be in the middle of the ceiling. They may put it 6 inches off. That's a big factor if you're putting a table in your kitchen nook area and it's going to be offset on your table.
Yeah, or like a chandelier.
Exactly.
Play stuff. Yeah.
So you want to find that kind of stuff beforehand because it's super easy to move whenever it's time of installment rather than when your home's completed. Mm-hmm. So I look at placement of stuff. I look at quality of what they've used. Is it the right baseboards? Is it the right selections that you selected per all the addendas that you fill out after you go to design and you pick all your stuff out?
Yeah.
But really, it's to make sure that the job that was supposed to be done is done. You're looking for moisture is a big one I look for whenever the sheetrock's up because they haven't enclosed the house until that roof's on. By the time they've sheetrocked, they have, but it's not fully encased and enclosed.
Because rain goes sideways sometimes.
Correct. Yeah. So if windows aren't in, you're going to get moisture in there. So I like to look at the sheetrock to see if there's been any settled moisture in that sheetrock because you don't want that. You want to have them replace that piece of sheetrock, and sometimes it's just a small area. But if you don't catch it, they may not have caught it, or they may not replace it because they don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, realtors have this. I got one myself. I don't know if you have one, but it's a moisture detector. It has two little prongs on it. I had one when I was building this, and I've used it for other clients, and sticking it into drywall near windows and stuff like that, so we make sure when moisture. They're only like $15 if you're in this position and you want to buy one of those. It's fairly
highly recommended to any agent.
Yeah. The last thing would be like the final walkthrough. Okay, this is a big one. I think it's a big one for really anyone. You're looking at all your finished stuff. I know in the beginning of my career, and I kind of watched his Instagram story. He brings a LED light and he looks at all the walls. And
builders hate it.
Oh, dude, I did it too. And he was next to me. He's like, dude, I hate it. You put it this way, and you look for all the nail pockets, right? What do you call them? The
nail pops.
Nail pops. And also if it's flat and not all wavy.
Right?
Yeah. I actually had a wall fixed in my bedroom that was all looked like a tidal wave. But yeah, and then put as much blue tape up as you can possible, because once you get it up, they're gone. They're not here to really help. You normally have warranties, right?
Yeah,
but it always takes time for them to come in. You really want to finish product.
I tell people when they're buying new construction, it's a different mentality than when you're buying a pre-owned home.
Yeah.
When you buy a pre-owned home, you're accepting the fact that you're going to have to fix some things. You're buying a home that somebody else has lived in. When you're buying a new construction home, you're buying a brand new product. Is it going to be perfect? No. It's still a living, breathing product that somebody else has built.
Please understand that, what he just said. It is a living, breathing product that they're finishing out. And on final walkthrough, just like everyone else, we're human. Vendors make mistakes. They skip over something. There might be, texture not all the way all to the corners. Just blue tape it. Calm down. It'll be fixed.
Yeah.
Even if it's after closing, it'll be fixed. Most I mean, all the builders I've built with, they've always been really good at coming in.
Yeah, most of them do an 11-month warranty where they'll come in and fix cracks, and because your home settles.
Yeah.
So as your home settles, you're going to get nail pops, you're going to get small sheetrock cracks, separation in the caulking, and they'll come in and do that. But that's what I came from right before here was a blue tape walkthrough, and people may be asking, what's a blue tape walkthrough? Well, blue tape is what you do before you close with the builder, and you go in and you mark all the deficiencies all around the home. Yeah. And at that point, everything should be pretty much finished out, and you're looking for small paint mishaps, caulking mishaps, small holes that were missed underneath drawers and cabinets, and you go around and you blue tape the entire home. But having your realtor there with you is important, in my opinion, because we do it so much. We kind of know the areas to really look for and what we're looking for. So that's a time that we go in and you're trusting us to go in and make sure that we hit all those deficiencies in the home, so the builder will fix it prior to closing.
Got it. So that's pretty much, he nailed everything. I'm not going to repeat any of that. So that's exactly what you need to do. And then that's, the blue tape, by the way, is just like the painter's tape, that blue tape that, you put on walls and stuff in your painting. My wife uses it a lot for her crafts, but I actually steal it all the time when I go to walkthroughs, so she gets pissed. But other thing is that when you're doing a new construction, there's usually this option whether you have your lender you've been working with, and sometimes the new construction builders, those communities have their own incentives for you to use their lender. I know we used their lender to get an extra $40,000 at the actual design center. So there's been they could pay for closing costs. I know some of them have been doing buy downs for the the interest rates lately. So if that is happening, just make sure you read the contract to have your realtor read those too, because not everybody's a perfect nice person like me and Travis are out there. Sometimes they're out to win for themselves and not their actual customers. Yeah,
when it comes to the lending, I get asked a lot, should we trust their lender because they're giving us a bunch back? It's not always a negative to go with the builder's lender. A lot of times it's a positive, and I know our lender partners don't love to hear this, but if they're really good and they put your needs first, they'll tell you the same thing. But you want to take a look at everything. So what I tell people to do is get pre-approved with the builder's lender. Most builders require that now because they do give a lot of good incentives sometimes. But just like you shop and do your research with everything, do the same thing on the lender. Get all the pricing that builder's lender is presenting you with, and take it to the third-party lender that you are using and let them see if they can match it. The lenders that I work with, they're honest, and they'll tell me, hey, Trav, I can't beat that builder's lender. They need to go with them. Or they'll say, hey, I can't give as much of a credit, but I can make it better on this end, the overall amount that they're going to pay. And you as the buyer or as the buyer's representation, let your buyer figure that out. But always have it looked at a second time, in my opinion, to make sure that you're getting the best deal.
Yeah, definitely get some other eyes on it.
But to touch on real quick, the reason a lot of builders lenders, they can give such big credits or the buy downs or more incentives in the design is because that builder has partnered with one lender, so they're getting all that business.
Yeah.
So their margins that they're willing to accept may be a little lower than if you go with a third-party lender that's not getting all those homes. So they're able to give away a little bit more.
The reason behind it. Yeah.
So it's not a negative that they do that. It's because they have that partnership with that builder.
Yeah, and there's a lot of business coming in, so they can do that.
They can.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
I think that nails everything, right?
Yeah.
On the new construction.
I think so. The biggest thing to remember is you always want somebody to have your best interest at the forefront of their mind. It's not always about saving money. A lot of people say, well, if I don't use a realtor, maybe I'll get an extra $15,000 to $30,000 in that commission. You're right, you might, but it may also come with more problems because you have nobody that's representing you.
Exactly. So the safe side of things would be to use a realtor, even if it's not us and you're in a different state or a different city that's far away from DFW. I definitely would seek using a real estate agent just to have your back and be a representative and make sure all the dots are lined up correctly.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming to listen to us today. I know Travis does. He comes in here and
always
gets on this camera and he just spits that just amazing knowledge on here.
Love the camera.
Yes, he loves it. Just give us some feedback. Share it with a friend. family member, whatever it is. We love your feedback. And when you think about real estate, think about real estate leadership.
Have a great day.